Hi, I'm Max. I'm the Indie Anchor. Today is another part of our 11-hour series about how better to spend your time watching wrestling and not watching the WWE. Those 11 hours a week are what you would spend watching WWE's content. Last week we covered DCW, and they only took up a half hour out of one of our hours. We're here to introduce you to the other half of that hour, and that is Enjoy Wrestling out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They have a really astounding venue in it being an old church. It's called the Clement. Perry, you're here from the last video. How did you feel about the venue?
It was nice. Like I said, the eerie feeling of it with a little bit of the stained glass kind of drew you in a little bit more. It gave me the feeling like it was like a backyard, street brawl. It's like, all right, it's about to get brutal.
Well, I mean, and we watched 3 episodes for the context of our overall opinion, and the 3 episodes we watched were the season finale of number 1, which was still under strict COVID terms, so there were barely any fans there. Then we also watched the last 2 episodes of season 2, including the Battle Royal, which led to the winner of the suitcase being MV Young.
Right.
So overall, how do you feel about, like, who really stood out to you as far as people in those 2 seasons and episodes that we watched?
A couple of people that stood out for me, was Solo. MV Young was very entertaining. I enjoyed his wrestling, very spot on, very precise. He felt comfortable with his moveset. Another one, the champion, Moriarty. He's a very believable character. He's comfortable with what he does. He believes in himself.
Yeah, the whole Tyga style thing. And
right.
Yeah, Lee Moriarty definitely stands out. How did you feel about Mr. Grimm? Because he was one that you didn't mention that I kind of really enjoyed.
Right. I really enjoyed Mr. Grimm. Very refreshing. That brutality to him, like I enjoyed. He's in there to cause chaos and pain. Sure enough, he lays it out there. He's like, this is what's going to happen. This is what I'm doing. Have fun. You're going to feel it tomorrow.
So, how would you feel like if you were given it like a, out of 10 rating? How do you feel like the average match quality is of what you watched out of 10?
Out of 10? On what level would you think of? Like professional, like WWE, independent?
Did you believe it? Did you believe it?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely drew me in. It kept me entertained. At some points I couldn't take my eyes off what was going on, which was nice.
Anybody in particular that just really like you couldn't watch or kind of turned you off?
Unfortunately, Ziggy. I couldn't get into the character. It was a little bit too much for me. In fact, it gave me the feeling that she's a heel.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you at one point even said to me, it's like, I don't know whether this person is a face or a heel, and, that kind of does distract from your ability to like something.
Right, you're spending too much time trying to figure out the gimmick, what's going on, so it kind of pulls you away from, what you're supposed to be watching.
And it is a matter of perspective, because just because you feel that way, obviously
right.
I don't, or my viewer, or
right.
any of the viewers don't,
But I do have to give it to her, though. She's very outgoing. That is something that, a lot of wrestlers should strive for, and I do appreciate that about her character.
So we're going to talk about the promo quality next, and me and you both agreed that there was one promo that just stood out, and we believed it, and we loved it,
right.
And it was just the most amazing promo ever made.
Yes.
And that was, Captain Sterling in the final episode of Season 2, at the very beginning of the show. That promo was just gold on a microphone. It was glorious, it was beautiful, it was 5, 10 stars, however you want to rate it.
Right, 5 of 5, 10 of 10. Very comfortable, very fluid. Comfortable with his own character development. Didn't overdo it, didn't undershoot it. It was spot on, it was comfortable, it drew you in.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And the other thing we want to talk, and the last thing we're going to talk, is the production quality. And we talk about production quality, let's talk about the reveal at the end of Season 2's final episode. You want to talk about the title reveal.
Right, the title reveal was epic. Very much like the end of an action movie. Very unique. I wish all title reveals, had that what's the word I'm looking for? That suaveness.
Well, I mean, being a wrestling fan myself for 20 years and you being kind of new to it, just being my other side barrier, I have never seen a title reveal like that either, with that small cinematic quality. That he opens the case. He gets the letter, you don't even know what the letter means, and then he's going to this location. Anyway, I won't reveal too much of it, but it was just the best title reveal that I've seen in wrestling, so we both agreed on that. And overall, Enjoy Wrestling is an entirely different cup of tea. It is, because of the LBGT friendly aspect of it and the fact that men and women compete on an even ground.
Right.
Those are the things that make it very, very different than anything you'll ever see anywhere else. MV Young won that title, but women were going for it too, and there was no distinction of weight, gender, or whatever as to who could go for that title, because that final battle royal was filled with all shapes, sizes, sex, and genders.
Right, which was refreshing because it's less about who you are and all that nature. It's about wrestling. If you want to get down to the root of what wrestling is all about, it is about wrestling. There's no quorums about it. If you want to wrestle, they will put you in the ring.
Yeah, and it is so different that is, to me, the attraction. But overall, we definitely give it a thumbs up, just like we did DCW last week before. It is a different way to spend that 11 hours we're talking about. And yet again, between the two videos that we've made, we're still only talking about 1 hour of that 11 being encompassed, and you're already watching two very different promotions. One with a 80s, 90s style, and one with an LBGT current style. So it is definitely worth your hour. And with that, we will be calling it a day. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Also find me on Twitter at Max at the Indy Anchor. And you guys have a good one.